Hello and welcome to this special broadcast on WION. My name is Mohammed Saleh. So as Cyclone Michaung makes its landfall, its wind speed is expected to be 110 kilometers per hour. An estimated 10,000 people have been evacuated from their homes and they've now been taken to safety. Now heavy to very heavy rains, accompanied by strong winds, have already lashed many parts, including places such as Nellore, Prakasam, and also in Bapatla, the place where the cyclone is, of course, making its landfall. Now, the Andhra Pradesh government has appointed several senior bureaucrats as special officers for the cyclone-affected districts. On Monday, the cyclone pummeled Chennai and its neighbouring districts non-stop after heavy rains. Since Sunday morning, it flooded homes and it also destroyed cars and bikes across the coastal metropolis. So the question is this: how prepared is India to deal with these extreme weather phenomena? And also, what is expected to happen as the cyclone, of course, makes its landfall? The landfall event itself will last for almost about 3 to 4 hours. Now, to discuss all of these issues, we're being joined by Mr. Mahesh Palawat, who is the Vice President at SkyMet Weather. Mr. Palawat, thank you very much indeed, sir, for joining us here on WION. And let me, in fact, start by asking you this. Now, this is a cyclone that has lashed the eastern coast of India and according to images that have come in, it is flooding that has not been witnessed in almost about 7 to 8 decades in places like Chennai. Why is it that this cyclone has been so intense and severe?
See, Mohammed, usually whenever a cyclone develops over Bay of Bengal, it has a tendency to move in northwesterly direction towards Tamil Nadu, Andhra or Odisha coast. But in the month of December, cyclones start developing over further south, over South Andaman Sea, and they strike Tamil Nadu or Andhra Pradesh coast. So whenever a cyclone moves towards coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh or Tamil Nadu, and it recurves in northeastern direction, so it usually maintain a distance of 200 to 300 kilometers. But this particular cyclone, it reached very close to Chennai, around 70 kilometers east of Chennai. And from there, it started recurving along the coast of east coast of the country. And it maintained a close distance by the coast. So it remained around, say, 60 to 70 kilometers away from the coast, and it continued traveling up to Andhra Pradesh. And now it is making landfall over Bapatla. So close proximity of the coast and longer duration near the coast leads to heavy to very heavy rainfall over Puducherry, Chennai, Nellore, Tirupati, Kavali, all these areas. So that was the reason that the longer the duration of the cyclone with the by the side of the coast leads to this torrential rain. Otherwise, usually cyclone has a tendency to hit direct hit. So the timing of, or you can say duration of cyclone remains, say, 4 to 5 hours only, but it remained close proximity to the coast up to 48 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, and also, sir, the thing that a lot of people are looking at, and they're looking at with concern in terms of the amount of damage that this cyclone can, in fact, still wreak along the coasts in Tamil Nadu and also Andhra Pradesh, where it has now moved to. Now, in the last 20 years, ever since that super cyclone struck the state of Odisha, where an enormous amount of people who ended up losing their lives, since then, India has taken many steps to try and mitigate the impact of cyclones such as this. Are we in a better position now to ensure that not a lot of human life is lost in extreme weather phenomena such as what we're witnessing at this moment?
Yes, science has made science has developed, and now we are in the position to predict the track and intensity of cyclone well in advance, say 4 to 5 days in advance. And during that period, the satellite pictures were very limited, and the models were not there, and the equipment was not up to the mark. But now you can see that SkyMet, JTWC, India Meteorological Department, all the agencies were able to predict the intensity and track of the cyclone well before time. So there was ample period available for the administration to get prepared for the eventuality. So that's why now the loss to life is very limited. But we cannot say because the damage to property cannot be avoided because the torrential rain along with heavy to very heavy, very strong winds, the gale force wind, say this particular cyclone is packing a wind speed of 100 to 110 kilometer per hour. But some cyclones, we have seen the wind speed in excess to 200 kilometer per hour. So that is the reason that now the casualties are very less, but the destruction due to the gale force wind and the heavy downpour cannot be avoided.
Right. And also, Mr. Palawat, you've been tracking cyclones it is for so long now. A lot of comparisons are being drawn with what happened in Chennai back in 2015, because back then, there was an enormous amount of rain that had struck the eastern coast. And that was the year that was described as the year when, the capital city of Tamil Nadu, Chennai, almost drowned, because that was the scale of flooding that had been witnessed there. How does this present flooding in this cyclone compare to what happened in 2015?
In 2015, the amount of rainfall was very high, but it was limited in the 24 hours to 48 hours. But this particular cyclone, as it traveled along the coast for longer duration and remained in the close proximity of the coast for longer duration. That's why the amount of rainfall is very, very high, because it is in the excess of 600 millimeter in the span of 72 hours. But during that time, the torrential rain lasted only for 24 hours, and therefore the deluge was seen during that time. But no city in our country, particular metro cities, are capable to handle such heavy downpour. But if this rain would have been, say, 100 to 200 millimeter in the span of 24 to 48 hours, so situation would have been very different. But the amount of rainfall was enormous, and our cities are not capable of handling such heavy downpour.
And also, Mr. Palawat, a lot of people would be interested in knowing why is it that the eastern coast of India is more prone to events such as cyclone than the western coast of India, where the Arabian Sea is. What is it about the Bay of Bengal that makes it so easy and possible for these cyclones to develop?
See, Mohammed, the sea surface temperature of Bay of Bengal are comparatively warmer than Arabian Sea. So cyclogenesis are more over Bay of Bengal in comparison to Arabian Sea. And all the cyclones, which either they are developing over Bay of Bengal or Arabian Sea, they have a tendency to move in northwest direction.
Right.
If a cyclone develops in Bay of Bengal, it will move towards east coast of the country. If a cyclone develops over Arabian Sea, most probably it will move away from the coast towards Oman and Yemen. But out of 10, 2 to 3 cyclones in Arabian Sea have a tendency to recurve in northeast direction after reaching the central parts of Arabian Sea towards North Maharashtra, Gujarat, or South Sindh. But all the cyclones, most of the cyclones developing in Bay of Bengal will travel in northwest direction towards Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Odisha coast. And few cyclones have a tendency to recur due to due to the ridge of subtropical ridge. So whenever they recur in northeast direction, so they reach up to Gangetic West Bengal, sometimes up to Bangladesh and Myanmar.
Right.
So most of the cyclone, because they are traveling in northwest direction, that's why east coast is more.
Right. Absolutely. And also, sir, tell us a bit why the trajectory of Cyclone Michaung is something that is being looked at very closely. You mentioned it is the trajectory of this cyclone that has resulted in such heavy rainfall. Why is it that this particular cyclone has traveled almost parallel to the coastline with India?
It depends upon the position of subtropical ridge. Whenever the anticyclone is away from, you can say it is over Southeast Asia, then the subtropical ridge usually track the cyclone from say 200 to 300 kilometers away from coast in the northeast direction. And if a cyclone reaches up to, say, Andhra Pradesh coast, and it has a distance of 200 to 300 kilometers, and it starts recurving in northeast direction, then the impact of that particular cyclone will not be very heavy over, will not be very intense over Tamil Nadu or Andhra Pradesh or Odisha coast. But this particular cyclone, because the subtropical ridge was very close to the coast, So after reaching near the Chennai coast, say it was around 50 to 60 or 70 kilometers away from Chennai, and then it recovered in northerly direction. So our orientation of our east coast from Chennai to Nellore is just you can say 360 degree. So
Right.
it remained in close proximity to coast, and it made a landfall over Bapatla. So for 2 to 3 days, it continues its movement very near to coast. So all the moisture was depleted over the coastal areas of Tamil Nadu, north coast of Tamil Nadu, as well as over south coast and central parts of
Right.
coastal Andhra Pradesh.
And also, Mr. Palawat, a lot of people would want to know as to how cyclones are named. This particular cyclone, Michaung, the word Michaung apparently means strength and resilience, which is a pretty strange thing to name a cyclone after. Can you tell us as to how cyclones are actually named?
The cyclones which develops over North Indian Ocean, either over Bay of Bengal or Arabian Sea. So 13 countries are assigned by World Meteorological Organization, like Oman, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Saudi Arabia. All these 13 countries, they give their say list of names, 13 names. There are 13 columns and 13 rows. So all the countries, they give their names, 13 names. So one after another, you can say alphabetically, the countries' name are there. So the cyclone which was in Arabian Sea, Tej, it was given name was given by India. Thereafter, Hamoon was given by I think Iran, and this Midli by I think I don't remember who was given that name, but this name was given by Myanmar. So
Right.
number-wise, these 13 countries which can be impacted by these cyclones
Right.
have been assigned their name. Yeah.
And also, my final question to you, Mr. Palawat, is how much longer can we expect the impact of Cyclone Michaung to, in fact, last on the Indian coastline before the cyclone eventually, weakens up and loses its intensity?
See, this particular cyclone is already making its landfall over Bapatla, so intensity will gradually reduce. Now the rain activities over north coastal Tamil Nadu will reduce significantly, but as the cyclone will travel parallel to coast in interior parts of Andhra Pradesh up to Telangana, and then it will degenerate into a depression by today evening. So for next 4 to 5 hours, we can say the intensity of rain will be very heavy over coastal parts of Andhra Pradesh, and thereafter over eastern parts of Telangana, South Chhattisgarh, and parts of Odisha. So by evening, the intensity of rain as well as the speed of winds will reduce significantly, and it will start degenerating. So next 4 to 5 hours are very crucial.
Absolutely, indeed. The next 4 to 5 hours are going to be very crucial. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Mahesh Palawat, for joining us and giving us that perspective there, sir.
Okay.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.